listen to the rest. Now it's time to listen to the best. Real Talk Sports, where these pro sport analysts do more than get in front of the throws. They never miss a catch or a call. No matter the sport, they always have the right call. Not just entertaining, it's the true sports fans forecasting guy. Feel free when you cash in or let it ride. With Real Talk Sports by your side, that is. Just to keep the ball bouncing even more. It's two-way talk with live question and review. So be sure to listen in on the new WIGO.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another broadcast of the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, Minister Jonathan Simmons, and I have one of the older of the young guns in the building, already arrived, Mr. Ashton. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, man, pretty exciting here. You guys are once again manning the booth as the Big Chief is down here at Phillips Arena getting set to see the Hawks take on the Washington Wizards. So we look for the young guns to hold it down again.
Oh, yes, most definitely. And in that game right there, the Hawks versus Wizards, is definitely going to be an exciting game. That's how I predict it to be.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely going to be a good one. We're going to be talking about that later on in the episode. We're also going to be talking about this Hawks streak. You know, what has been the magic elixir. We got some great clips by Coach Bud, and we got Tim Hardaway. And then we're going to keep the Hawks theme throughout the segment. Right at the end, we're going to bring you in our motivational and community segment, the comments from Kyle Korver, as he actually had a chance to talk to some young people from several churches from around the area and gave his testimony to Christ. So the Hawks are trending right now, bro.
Oh, yes, most definitely, especially with all of the good things that you have just mentioned with Kyle Korver and the fact that they're playing some good basketball. So Atlanta Hawks are looking great right now.
No doubt. Of course, the other news that everybody's got their eyes on is the NCAA March Madness. We're going to talk about whose bracket has been totally busted and who do you think now are going to be the contenders to make it on to the Final Four. So we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about I got a nice little segment that we're going to start doing now. I don't know how nice it'll be because, normally the minister doesn't like to throw any shade. And I really don't like to make fun of people, as you know.
Right.
But every now and then, all I have to say is simply, we's about some folks. I mean, I just can't understand the thinking of people from time to time. For example, Mr. Ashton, I know you played ball for a long time and came up, great star at Forest Park, had some aspiration to go on and play professionally as well. But now, are you familiar with Stickum?
Oh, yes, I'm actually familiar with Stickum, but most people use it for football to, help people catch the ball better, and when it hits your hand, it just sticks, literally. Okay,
well, the other night here, right here in Atlanta, as Atlanta took on the Houston Rockets, Paul Millsap went to the foul line, and then before he took his shot, he had a real odd look on his face. He looked at the ref and motioned the ref over and handed the ref the ball.
Right.
What do you think was on the ball?
It had to be Stickum.
It was some Stickum. Now, okay.
Wow.
Now we all of a sudden now have the detectives out. Now the refs are searching around. Okay, who put the Stickum on? And guess who the culprit was?
Dwight Howard?
Atlanta's own Dwight Howard. Here's a guy that grew up right here, played high school ball in Atlanta, of course, went right from high school to the Orlando Magic. And evidently, Dwight says, in what I've been reading online, that he's been a long-time user of Stickum.
Wow. Honestly, when I first heard that news, I actually thought it was fake because the first place I saw it was on Facebook. And, on Facebook, when you see something like that, you really can't believe it off the jump. But then all of a sudden, I've been seeing it all over the internet, and I'm like, wow. Because honestly, I don't even understand the purpose of using Stickum within basketball. I mean, the ball has enough grip as it is, and, I don't even see the point of using it.
Well, see, that's spoken like a true guy that is a wingman, a guard. He say, I got to be slick. I can do the cross, so I can't have the ball sticking to my hands. But on the flip side, if you are one of the top rebounders in the NBA,
right,
and in fact you got to go up and grab the ball and maybe snatch it from an opponent, what better way to give it a little extra grip than some Stickum?
Right, but I mean, when you look at Dwight Howard, he's not a small guy. I mean, the guy is he's one of the big size centers within the NBA. Guy's very, very strong. He's already 6'10". He can create space on his own. So I don't see why he would have a problem getting the ball out of people's hands and things like that. But I know that he hasn't been the same player, and I guess he needed Stickums to, help add to his keep his rebounding numbers at a high level. I guess as the NBA is becoming more and more athletic, and he really can't dominate how he used to due to the amount of athleticism at the big man position now. But still, that's crazy. I can't believe Dwight Howard would do that.
Well, folks, what do you think about this? Dwight Howard, do you think we're making much ado about nothing? They found some Stickum on the ball, and Dwight Howard says, look, I've been using Stickum for years. I don't see the beef. But clearly, Paul Millsap was like, I don't need no Stickum on the ball when I'm trying to shoot a foul shot. You can call us up 404-361-1571. Again, you've tuned in to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, Minister Jonathan Simmons, and I am back on the road, downtown Atlanta, Phillips Arena, getting set for the Hawks to take on the Washington Wizards. And if you want to call and chime in again, it's 404-361-1571. Now, here's the good news. If you're leaving your office and you're thinking, man, I want to continue to hear the show, you obviously can go to 1570 AM on your dial, or you can tune into www.wigoam.com, or simply use your mobile device, use the free TuneIn Radio application, put in WIGO 1570 in the search engine, or better yet, put in the Real Talk Sports Show, and voila, you'll find us broadcasting to you right here and right now. While you're there, follow Real Talk Sports. Well, the last thing I'm going to say here in this Wheeze About Some Folks segment is, Ashton, I had the opportunity over the weekend to attend the Black College Football Hall of Fame ceremonies.
Oh, wow.
Now, yeah, as you know, as an old school guy like me, always a great privilege to go. I saw guys that played, in some cases, before even I was born, but definitely long before you were born. These guys like Art Shell, who's one of the greatest offensive linemen ever in the NFL, he was there. We saw Doug Williams and Shaq Harris. Those are the two guys who founded the Black College Football Hall of Fame.
Wow.
And for those listeners who might be young like you, Doug Williams was the first black quarterback to be named MVP of a Super Bowl.
Wow.
Yep. So he was there. Modern-day guys, Aeneas Williams played for the Cardinals, both when they were St. Louis, then later on when they moved to Arizona, one of the greatest defensive backs in NFL history.
Right.
He was also inducted as well. Emmett Thomas, a guy that played on the original team that went to the very first Super Bowl, the Kansas City Chiefs. He was there as well. So just, man, for me, a lot of history and just great to be amongst all these guys. And here's the key, Ashton. All of these guys graduated from historically black colleges and universities.
Oh, yes. That's definitely what's up.
So it just was unbelievable to be there. But now you're probably thinking, what does it have to do with Wheeze About Some Folks? Well, find out when I'm there, listening to the commentary by those who actually are leaders of this great Hall of Fame. And they have been talking years past about trying to get a permanent home for the Black College Football Hall of Fame. And, of course, the city that they mentioned, number one on their list, was Atlanta.
Right.
And that would make sense. Atlanta being the home of the civil rights movement, you have not one but two HBCU schools here. They actually had a third that was here before, Morris Brown, which, of course, was a school that was part of the legendary movie Drumline. So you would think it would make sense to have it here, right?
Right.
Guess where they're thinking about moving it to, sir?
What? Where are they trying to move it to?
They said that they have signed, basically a tentative agreement to partner with the NFL to move it inside, either in the building or have a building adjacent to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton.
In Canton?
Canton, Ohio.
Wow. Why would they want to do that?
That's exactly my question. Why would they want to do that? I don't understand it at all. Now, I actually, excuse me, let me not say that. I think I do understand it. Somehow the ministers, I'm smelling some money. I'm smelling there might have been more money involved with them moving it to Canton than here to Atlanta. And also, I got to say again, don't want to throw shade, but Mayor Kasim Reed, now I'm getting kind of irritated. We lost the Braves. We got Georgia State sucking up all this historically black portion of the community over in Auburn Avenue, just unrelenting like Pac-Man. Turner Field is gone because you let the Braves get out of town.
Right.
And now I understand, after long negotiations with the city, we couldn't keep the Black College Football Hall of Fame. So I'm feeling some kind of way.
Right. You have a good reason to.
I'm feeling some kind of way.
Right. Atlanta's definitely losing a lot of great things now, so that's crazy.
And I just can't understand it, man. And to me, I'm thinking to myself, hey, it just seems to make sense to have something like this, in the community, where people would have better access to it. I mean, just even thinking of people flying in. Don't get me wrong. I mean, yes, do people go to Canton? Of course they do. I'm not silly. But you would think, again, it's a black college football hall of fame. Why wouldn't you want to have it near a black college, or at least within striking distance?
Right.
I'm just saying.
Right, and especially with all of the history that you can learn from there, and things that that are not really known to everyday African Americans. Just to have it here, that would definitely perhaps be motivation to somebody like my age or possibly younger, and they can so they might have similar aspirations of those guys, and just having that here would actually provide enough motivation so they can go ahead and accomplish the goals that they have set for themselves.
That's what I'm thinking, man. I mean, because to be very candid with you, the young man that won, I'm going to try to get his name a little later, the young man that actually won the award for the National Black College Defensive Player of the Year, he's a young man that is on the top 100 for this year's NFL draft prospects.
Oh, wow.
Played for South Carolina State. Javon, I'm just going to blank on his last name, but, tremendous young man. I got a chance to talk with him. Just a genial guy, nice guy. But again, coming from a historically black college and university where you're thinking, oh, hey, they're going to be able to find me. The answer is yes. And if he gets drafted and goes to the NFL and makes any type of name for himself, he'll be part of the long history of outstanding players into the league that have come from the NFL. And for me, you hit it on the head. How good would it be, or how cool would it be to have young African-American kids, especially right here in Atlanta metro area? Chattanooga's an hour away. All these cities are very close to Atlanta where these guys could come and think about it. All the schools that are nearby, South Carolina State, Tuskegee,
right?
All the schools in Alabama A&M. Of course, you probably have it right down the road from Clark and from Morehouse. And for these guys to go in and see, hey, listen, even though I'm playing at a school that's a smaller school, I got a shot.
Right.
I got a shot.
Right. Most definitely.
All-time leading sack leader in history, Michael Strahan, went to an HBCU.
Right. And
there you go.
And it's funny, though, the NFL is actually looking towards the smaller schools, especially the HBCUs. They're definitely gaining a lot of attention now. And, that just having it here, and it's a lot of talent that comes out of Georgia as well, going to the Alabamas. And, those recruits, they do get approached by HBCU colleges. I've actually seen it happen where these up-and-coming recruits get approached, but they're shunned away. They shunned away the idea of going to HBCU because of the fact that they are smaller schools. But to have that here in a place where a lot of talent comes from, that would have definitely been a great thing.
Yeah, because you think about it. You hit something right there on the head. And listen, folks, again, if you want to join in the conversation, we're at 404-361-1571. The bottom line is, you just said something very, very key. Atlanta, the Atlanta metro area here in Georgia. Now, all of Georgia is big for recruiting for football, but the Atlanta metro area has now moved to number 3 overall in the nation, trailing only Southern California area and the Miami, the Dade County, South Miami area for high school recruits. So again, you hit it right on the head. How big would it be for the HBCUs as far as the ability to recruit kids out of this area to be able to have that museum, have that Hall of Fame right here in the city of Atlanta?
Right.
It's big, man. It's just big. So again, that's concludes my little segment here. Wheeze about some folks. We're going to try to take a little quick break here. Folks, again, you're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show as we broadcast to you on Atlanta's Incredible Radio, WIGO 1570 on the dial. You also can find us on WIGOAM.com. Remember, you can follow the Real Talk Sports Show anywhere on social media. Just put in at TalkSportsATL. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on Periscope. As a matter of fact, I might be doing a little Periscope broadcast later on from the Hawks game. Hey, but keep it locked right here for more. We'll be talking Final Four, Bracket Busters, and the red-hot Atlanta Hawks. Stay tuned.
It's official. The hottest new restaurant and sports grill on the South Side is open for business. Check out the Burger Theory Restaurant, 638 Highway 138, Stockbridge, Georgia, inside the Holiday Inn and Suites. All new. It's got great appetizers, delicious desserts, and mouth-watering signature burgers made for your order. Grab some takeout on the way home or enjoy the beautiful lounge and dining area lined with flat-screen TVs. It's the Burger Theory Restaurant, 638 Highway 138 inside the Holiday Inn, Stockbridge, Georgia.
I have been called one of the nicest people you will ever meet. Some woman who wants to be immoral. She wants to fit in with whore America. She wants to spread her legs outside the confines of marriage. And she wants my tax-paying dollars to do it. I'm known to be very laid back and reserved. And another thing, you pastors, I got to get on you real quick. Don't try to stand and march against homosexuality and say they can't get rights. Meanwhile, Liberace's playing your organ and Elton John's directing your choir. One thing for sure, I really get along with everybody.
About the mismarriage is media.
No, what's media? It's not in the media. Are you kidding me?
You don't know.
Yes, I do know. No. Yes, I do know. Now, you want to tick me off? You say something like that. To get to know me a little better and learn more about my wonderful attributes, join me live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. on WIGO AM 1570, online at WIGOAM.com or the TuneIn app. Download that for free. I'm Milani Kai. Dare to speak your mind.
Hey, you woke up today. Big win. Time for a reward. Right now at Burger King, get 2 hot and flaky Croissant breakfast sandwiches for just $4. That's 2 Croissant for just $4 at Burger King. Piled high with crispy bacon, fluffy egg, and melted cheese, and they're 2 for $4. That's a breakfast deal so good, you may just become a morning person. Get the 2 for $4 Croissant deal today, only at Burger King. Limited time only, price and participation vary.
Progressive presents Mindfulness with Flow.
Close your eyes and give thanks for the many things the universe has given you. The many discounts. Safe driver, multi-car, paperless. You are a richer person for these things. No, seriously, you're richer. Check your wallet.
You're getting deeper and deeper into saving money with Progressive. Visit Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Ah, spring. Well, that's what it was called before Honda's Dream Garage sales event. Now it's garage season. Hear that? That's the sound of a garage reaching greatness. Thank you, Honda, for allowing such beauty to exist.
Hurry in to the Honda Dream Garage sales event, where every 2016 vehicle has a standard rear-view camera, and well-qualified buyers can get 0.9% APR on the 2016 CR-V.
See dealer for financing details.
And we are back from break. This is the young gun, Ashton Reynolds, in here. Once again, we're in the booth. And now we're about to move on to the NBA segment. Now, this past game between the the Warriors and the Spurs, the question was, could anybody stop the Warriors? Because for a moment, they've looked unbeatable. For a moment, they looked like they just couldn't be stopped. For a moment, they looked like they could just cruise through the league. Well, they got their question answered, yes, and it was by the San Antonio Spurs. Now, I know many people were saying that Golden State, they destroyed the Spurs when they first met, 120-90, but they didn't play San Antonio at home. For those who don't know, San Antonio, they have the longest winning streak record in NBA history, and they kept it going by beating the Golden State Warriors. And Steph Curry, he was actually held scoreless within the fourth quarter. And, that's one thing that he's one of the guys who is actually a key attribute to the Warriors' success for everybody who knows. The way that the guy he's been shooting off the charts, breaking records, breaking his own records. But the Spurs managed to shut that down by keeping them scoreless within the fourth quarter. And it's crazy because recently, not only have the Spurs just defeated them, but they also looked beatable when they played the Atlanta Hawks, who also gave them a run for their money each time that they faced each other. So the question now is, can the Warriors be beaten? And for those who want to tune into the conversation, the lines are open. It's 404-361-1571. Again, it's 404-361-1571. And actually, within the booth right now, we have a guy by the name of Chance who actually works with the Atlanta Hawks and things like that. Chance from Tallboy, what's going on now?
What's good, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. So I was just starting off the NBA talk by asking, could the Warriors be beat? What do you think? Could the Warriors Did they look beatable, you know? Would you still say that everybody have a chance against the Warriors now since they've kind of looked a little beatable lately?
Yeah. I mean, every dog has his day. But, yeah, man, I feel bad for my boy LeBron because I think the Warriors are going to take the championship again, man. I just don't see – I see them beating the Bulls record. I don't see them losing 15 games, you know what I mean?
Right.
With Steph and Draymond and all those boys, I mean, I don't know, man.
Right.
I don't know. I don't think they're going to sweep everybody in the playoffs, but I can't see them losing. Can't see it.
Right.
Let's take a look here. Let's take a look at the game yesterday. Chance, I see you in the building, man. I got your text there, guy. I was trying to hit you back saying, hey, I'll be down at the game, but we just appreciate you stopping by and peeking in with the young guns. Here, let's take a look at this. We looked last night. I guess my big question is pretty much following up what Ashton was talking about. Okay, in these last 2 weeks or so, for the first time really all season, of course, that would make sense. We've only lost like 4 games. For the first time all season, they've looked a little vulnerable. And so my question is, first of all, is Steph Curry 100%? That ankle, there were a couple of times we didn't see him really launch off the way he did. And number 2, can they get by San Antonio, who gives them some matchup problems because they do have such an outstanding big, actually a couple outstanding bigs with Aldridge and, of course, with the guy who's going to be one of the great all-time NBA legends, Tim Duncan. So that's going to be the real big question. Are those bigs going to be able to really give them the ability to slow the game down and in a 7-game series maybe have just enough to get by the Warriors?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to struggle with size. I mean, that's kind of the same problem with the Hawks. Whenever the Warriors' shots aren't falling, which is rare, but we did see that the other night on Saturday when they lost. But, yeah, I mean, that's a 7-game series. So, I mean, that was a 1-game sample. I do think it'll be one heck of a Western Conference Finals, though. Like I said, I don't think they're going to run through the West because the West is deep. But, I mean, we thought the Spurs were this team last year, and they lost in the first round to the Clippers, right?
Right.
True.
So, yeah, man, I think I do like Aldridge. I do like their size. They can get the offensive boards. But, man, if Steph Curry's shots falling, and you can't think he's going to have – 4 bad games in a 7-game series?
Right.
So yeah.
But you see, the thing about it, though, is what Minister Simmons was talking about Steph Curry's health, because I know he had aggravated his ankle before, and I know that if you're able to, get physical with Steph Curry, no telling, he can alter his shot a little bit, as was seen like last year within the NBA Finals, when they in those games that they lost within the Finals, they got physical with him, and it kind of altered his shot. But like you said, regarding the Golden State, it's kind of hard for them to have consecutive bad games, but also with a team full of shooters, a slump, there's no telling how long it can last due to the fact that we've seen Draymond Green go through his slumps. The guy,
he's erratic anyway.
Right.
I mean, so Draymond Green, he's I might should say erratic. Let me not say that. He is what guys talked about last on the ESPN, that he has a tendency to be a streaky shooter.
Right.
So when he's hot, as we saw against the Hawks, when he's hot, everything he throws up goes in.
Right.
When he's not, he's not.
Right. But at least one thing that he does is he does all the extra stuff. Like as far as getting rebounds, he plays defense. He knows that his shot is off, so he's going to get his other teammates open instead of forcing too many bad shots. But when it comes to the Spurs, LaMarcus Aldridge is actually my favorite big man today due to the fact that he's so consistent with his numbers, the way that he's able to take his offensive game, mold it into the Spurs system, and still be as effective as he was playing for Portland. And then he has they will definitely, within a 7-game series, it'll definitely be kind of hard on Golden State due to the fact that San Antonio have starting bigs with Aldridge and Duncan, and then they have the backup bigs with David West and Boris Diaw. So that would definitely cause problems within a 7-game series for the Golden State Warriors.
Well, I think it's going to be a good one no matter what. I think everybody's very, very excited about seeing the West. I mean, obviously a lot of people talked about this whole NBA realignment because in a perfect world, I think a lot of people would want to see the Spurs and the Warriors actually clash for the NBA title.
Right.
You're going to see some great stuff, man. I mean, I just, like you said again, the wild card is going to be the health of Steph Curry because, as you know, Ashton, as being a guy that played at that guard position, if your wheels are not right, that ability to jump off of that foot, especially for a jump shooter, it can be problematic.
Right. But
so that's, I think, going to be the big key. Listen, you guys taking a look, listening here online or on the radio, doesn't matter. WIGO AM 1570 is Atlanta's Incredible Radio. You can listen to us online at WIGOAM.com. But the cool thing is, any mobile device, iOS or Android power, it does not matter. Use the free TuneIn Radio application. If you don't have it, download it. It's free. Put in WIGO 1570 in the search engine, or better yet, put in Real Talk Sports. And voila, you'll find us broadcasting to you right here and right now. Remember, while you're there, follow Real Talk Sports, and you can follow us anywhere on social media simply at Talk Sports ATL. Well, guys, the other big thing, obviously, that's been going on in the NBA, besides, obviously, can the Warriors close this thing out and become the best winning team as far as record in NBA history, right here in our backyard, Mr. Chance, I think the Hawks are starting to give us a little bit of that early last year flavor.
Yeah, and I think the difference between this year and last year is they're peaking at the right time, right? So last year they had a good 2 months, January, February, and they kind of stumbled into the playoffs. Versus now they're kind of getting hot at the right time. I think the X factor is Tim Hardaway. Like when they first made that trade, I was real critical. I was like, this dude's in the D League. He was terrible. But I think the issue with him really was health. I think that wrist injury was a little more severe than we thought, number one. And number two, he had to get used to playing in the system. In Coach Bud's system, defense is first. So I think once he got the knack of that over the last couple months, he started to play well. I mean, the last, 3-4 games, he's been playing really, really well. The three ball started to fall. Korver's a little bit better. And the team's overall defense is a little better. Millsap's been consistent all year, and Al Horford's starting to pick it up a little bit too. So, and then Chris Humphries, I mean, that trade I thought was nothing, but I think he's brought a little physicality, especially on the offensive glass. So they're kind of doing the right things that you want them to do here that April is around the corner.
Well, it sounds like they're clicking on all cylinders. And actually, we're going to do this. We're going to play two clips that we have, actually, of two guys you just mentioned. First, we're going to listen to Coach Bud's remarks after the Denver game, and then Tim Hardaway himself.
I think the way we started the game and the way we finished the game, defensively, a 16-point first quarter, and then most importantly, a 14-point fourth quarter. I thought the guys were just great on that end of the court, and I think it fueled a little bit of offense both in the first and the fourth quarter. Obviously Tim Hardaway was great. Kyle hit a couple big threes, and Dennis hit a big three when I think we're down 6 or 8 and struggling to score. So, 32 assists. It was, I think a lot of good stuff that second quarter. I think the turnovers, we just got to take better care of the ball, and a lot of those turnovers led to, 17 points, 9 turnovers for 17 points in the second quarter. So, obviously like to erase that quarter, but, the rest was very good with the way teams are using it now.
Coach, I know you're always talking about the team getting better, but what you've seen the last couple of weeks defensively, are they getting pretty close to what you're looking for? Well, they're playing well. They have a confidence on the defensive end. I think they feel like they can get stops, they can turn it up. And, it's really, the test is in the fourth quarter. Can you get stops with the game on the line? And the more confidence you can build in those situations, I think the better you're going to feel. And, I think the group's at a good place on the defensive end of the court. All right, thanks.
Feels good. Just hard work paying off right now, and it just doesn't stop right now. You got to keep going, keep pushing all the way when the playoffs start, and hopefully the season goes the way we plan on going. The way we plan on it finishing out, then we'll get ready for that. But for now, we'll get ready for Monday. We knew we were a better team than that, and just limit the turnovers, get quality looks at the rim, and just keep pushing it. We know that we had success when we were getting rebounds and pushing the ball and getting wide open threes, getting lay-ins. That's what we have to continue to do in the second half.
Whatever it is, guys, I think that summed it up what we were talking about. Coach Bud talking about the impact of how the team is playing and really the impact of Tim Hardaway, and Hardaway talking himself about how he's now comfortable in the system. Mm-hmm. And that's the key.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know how we are, Minister Simmons. First of all, I got to say, the other young gun, Mr. Reggie, is in the building, and I'm glad that he stepped in.
What up, son?
So I'm glad he stepped in at the right time. I'm going to let him speak on the Hawks right now, because I believe we're thinking the same way.
Uh-oh.
I think the Hawks
I feel the shots are coming.
Right now. I think they're gone on. Is it turned on? My bad.
But
Mic was off.
At the end of the day, it's like this, man. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, you guys, I know you guys give me tremendous pushback about the Hawks. And I got to be careful, guys. I'm down at Phillips Arena, so I don't want to be escorted out.
It's nothing bad, Mr. Simmons, but the Hawks have been playing some great basketball. We've been saying it all season. They need to start pushing the tempo and get rebounds. They've been doing that. Tim Hardaway moved up to the starting lineup. He's playing some good basketball. Schroeder, he plays well off the bench. And then you got Paul Millsap, who's just been playing phenomenal the whole season. So I think this Hawks team has really come together. I think they're 5-0 in their last 5 games. So they're just – I think they can go into the playoffs really on a good momentum stride. And whoever they face, I think they can take them out in the first round.
If they play with consistency. Because, you know, I understand that they're clicking at the right time, but like I am a firm believer in this saying right here. The regular season and the playoffs are 2 different things. Because when the playoff starts, you're 0-0. What you've done in the season, it doesn't really matter. And when it's the playoffs, you know, you're playing for something bigger. You're playing for the NBA title. And what they're doing now is great. I love it. You know, clicking on all cylinders at the right time. But to get yourself in position and then playing to remain in the playoffs are 2 different things. So if they can continue to do this when the playoffs start, then it's great. You know, go through the first round, second round, and don't just think beating Cleveland is the milestone. So just continue doing what they're doing now and be consistent with it. It'll definitely be a great run that the Atlanta Hawks will have.
Well, I can tell you, man, like I said again, the big key is that I think we hit it on the head. Just in terms of the overall play, just in terms of what we're seeing with them playing the type of ball that we saw really when they ran off 19 straight and won 19-0 in January. It's the same elixir. They're basically playing unbelievable defense, and they're getting 3-point shooting. I mean, I've been to personally 2 games where the Hawks have shot 50% from three-pointer. If you remember last year, one of the big keys that they were consistently around 40% from the three-point area.
Oh, yes.
And that's been the key.
Oh, yes. And like I said, when they clicking on all cylinders from the arc, they're very hard to beat. So
there's no question. I mean, because if you look at this team, one of the things that, and you heard Coach Bud talk about it, one of the things is that defensively it puts them in a position when they defend well, it puts them in a position where they're able to get more open looks, and more importantly, like I said, that they knock down the threes. The Hawks are just a tough team to beat because when you're shooting around 45%, it's like you're shooting over 50% from 2 points. So that's really the key, man. Really, like I said, right now, you guys hit on the head. It's just perfect timing. They are 5-0. They are 8 of their last 9. If they win today, 9 of their last 10. And the Hawks went from barely holding on to 6th place and really just a game out of 10th place. And out of the playoffs, now find themselves all the way in the 3rd position. So no question, if they keep this up, we might be able to go deep in the playoffs this year. Well, listen, everybody, you're listening, of course, to the Real Talk Sports Show that we broadcast to you from Atlanta's Incredible Radio, 1570 on the dial. You also can find us online at WIGOM.com. Call in line 404-361-1571.
Let's get ready to rumble with 100 yards of football, the hottest sports talk radio show, live from the ATL every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. with Vincent Turner and his impeccable sports talk crew. That's right. Join your host, Vincent Turner, and his impeccable sports talk crew every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. for hot sports topics and more right here on Atlanta's Incredible Radio, WIGO 1570 AM.
Find the perfect gift at Macy's with savings on top of savings. Save 30 to 75% store-wide. Plus, use your WOW Pass and take an extra 20 or 15% off. Take $10 off a $25 purchase with your pass, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday till 1 p.m. And save over $100 with your Macy's holiday money. Use it on top of coupons and sale prices. Find great ways to save now through Thursday at Macy's. Savings off sale and clearance prices, exclusions apply.
Attention promoters, event organizers, and committees. If you're looking for a place to have your next big event, you must check out the C Room Multiplex. The C Room Multiplex cordially invites you to book your next artist or to host your next big event at the C Room, specializing in the following areas: CD release parties, showcases, fashion shows, movie premieres, birthday celebrations, wedding receptions, banquets, pastors' anniversaries, special events, and more. At the C Room Multiplex, we also offer catering and decorating packages. For more information, call us 678-823-5124. That's 678-823-5124. Or visit us on the web at croomatlanta.com. That's c-roomatlanta.com. The C Room is Atlanta's premier Christian entertainment venue. The C Room, 4013A Jonesboro Road, Forest Park, Georgia. Mention this ad for special pricing.
Taylor, New York Giants, and you're with Real Talk Sports.
Everybody, we are back. We are back, everybody. You're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show as we're broadcasting to you live from two areas. We have the Young Guns in the studio with special guest Mr. Chance from Tallboy Radio. They're in the studio of WIGO 1570. And then El Capitan, the minister, is down here at Phillips Arena. You can probably hear the sound of the music in the warm-up here as we get ready to check out the Hawks take on the Washington Wizards. Well, guys, like we talked about in that last segment, the Hawks are trending nothing but up right now. What do they need to do to keep it going for the rest of the season?
Just remain consistent, like I was saying. Just continue to, first of all, not burn themselves out before the playoffs, because once they do that and they get gassed out, you're having a tough. In the first round, they will be playing some tough competitors that are competing, like Miami's, the Charlotte. So I say remain consistent, but don't burn yourself out for the rest of the season. And continue to play consistent ball so you can perhaps get better positioning, but don't burn yourself out.
Chance, what do you think, buddy?
Yeah, I think they just need to keep doing what they're doing. I think they need to try to stay in that 3 to 4 seed, because you want to avoid, I think if they stay in that 3 to 4, they'll avoid Cleveland in the first and the second round. So you definitely want to try to avoid that. And, stay healthy. And just keep that tenacity on defense. I think starting in December, they started to really pick their defensive game up. They went from being one of the worst defensive teams to one of the best. And that was a key to success last year, was their defense. Because, to be honest, they don't really have the talent to not play well defensively on their roster.
Right,
you know what I mean? So if they keep doing those things, stay healthy, which is a little bit of luck, trust the system, play defense, I think they can go back to the East Finals.
All right, Reggie Brown, what do you think, man? What do you think, what the Hawks need to do, man, to keep this thing moving for the last part of the season?
Everybody hit it on the head, man. They just got to keep pushing the ball, get rebounds, and don't slow down the pace of the game. Keep it up tempo. Play almost like Golden State. And I suggest that the Hawks can continue to work out their roster situations. They can put in Dennis Schroeder as a starter and let Tim Hardaway take a night out, or let Jeff Teague, because at this point where they're at right now, they're either going to be number 3 or number 4 playing consistent basketball. That's either Charlotte or they might end up playing Boston. Who knows? But they're going to have a good, easy first round, I believe. Go to the second round. Avoid playing. They might end up playing Toronto, which has been playing some good basketball. That'll be our only challenge. And so, like Chance said, just avoid Cleveland.
Well, I'm going to do this, guys. I'm down here at Phillips Arena right now. I'm liable to run into anybody as I'm walking through here. So I want to see if I can get this gentleman to give us a quick shout-out right here. He's kind of walking through. He's on the phone now, but I'll see if I can grab him right quick, give us a quick shout-out. I'm doing a Real Talk Sports Show right now from 1570. Want to give everybody a shout-out, kind sir?
Hey, God bless you. Who am I talking to now?
This is, you got the Young Guns back in the studio at WIGO 1570. Introduce yourself, tell us your name, and what do you think the Hawks' chances are for the second half of the season?
My name is Andrew Lang. I'm the team chaplain here. I think the Hawks' chances are wonderful.
Well, Mr. Lang, listen, I'm always fascinated when I meet another man of God here working hard. I see the chaplains, man. I very rarely see you guys, but I know it must be something. It's a thrill for you to kind of continue that connection to basketball, but now bringing that, really what God has you to do.
Well, what's most important is salvation. What's most important is these young men have children, they have families. They mean a lot to their communities. They mean a lot to the Atlanta community. But God loves them regardless of basketball. And I'm here to encourage them, and hopefully they can shine light on their faith.
Hey, speaking of that, in the last actor segment, we actually going to be broadcasting. We had a chance to hear Carl Corver as he addressed some of the kids from some of the Baptist schools. So you're right on point, man. Well, nice meeting you, and thanks for joining us. My pleasure. Andrew Lang, chaplain for the Hawks, just wanted to talk with us, if I can get the marbles out of my mouth, talk with us for just a second here as he was passing through, going on to get ready to watch the game. Like I said, folks, we like to bring it to you live from on the scene. You never know who we might bump into here on the Real Talk Sports Show. All right, gentlemen, we're going to do what we do normally. The second half of the segment, I'm going to have our engineer cue up that music because it's time for a little bit of NFL talk, talking draft, talking Falcons. Miss Engineer, give us the theme song for the NFL.
Oh, yeah, there it is right there. Oh, yeah. Feel like you're coming out the tunnel.
It's time to come out of the tunnel, get crunking here. It's the NFL segment that we do right here on the Real Talk Sports Show. Well, guys, listen, who do you think the Falcons should draft in the first round?
Defense.
I just wanted to see if we was on the same page, you know.
Yo, man, we got to get a pass rusher, dude. I don't care if he's a linebacker. I don't care if he's a Mike linebacker. I don't care if he's a defensive lineman. We got to get some heat, man. That's all we need.
Well, there's no question. I mean, I think that everybody agrees that you need to get some kind of pass rusher. The question is, who do you want to see in that number 17 slot? That's a big question.
Well, I know the Falcons are really hot and heavy on Leonard Floyd out of Georgia. They were at Pro Day a couple days ago. Quinn, Dimitrov, everybody, really. I think he's a tad bit undersized. He might to play inside backer. I would steer clear of Robert Kimbichi. I mean, he's a great physical talent, but he was, I like to call him disruptive but not productive. He didn't really get a lot of sacks. I mean, just to be the number one guy, the biggest star coming out of high school, I don't know if he lived up to it, not to mention all the off-field issues. I think the Falcons I want Miles Jack, but I don't think he'll be there at the 17 out of UCLA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mr. Jack will be gone, bro.
Yeah, so realistically, I think we're going to look at a Darren Lee, maybe a Noah Spence out of Ohio State. I think those guys will be there. I mean, Leonard will be there, but I think it's a little high to take him at a 17. I like Shaq Lawson because he's like Vic Beasley with a little size on him.
I think he'll be.
Let's go over here to one of the young guns here. Let's take a listen here. Ashton, who do you think they should grab in that first round, 17th slot? Go ahead.
I was agreeing with him when he said Darren Lee, Shaq Lawson, but I think Shaq Lawson might be gone. Yeah. But I agree with him with Darren Lee. Another person that I actually seen that the Falcons were had their eyes on was Reggie Ragland out of Alabama. Yeah. The guy who, was very key on the defense, of course. Yeah. But I'm thinking, and I'm gonna stay with this pick though. Okay. My safety, my favorite safety, Miles Killebrew, the tone setter. I know that the Falcons might not go with him with that 17th pick. I know that they might look at, Darren Lee, try to get the pass rushing and, try to, take advantage of that. But as far as a guy coming into the draft with complete skills, Miles Killebrew, that safety with the size, the intangibles, as well as his ability to set the tone with his hard hitting, as well as, he has enough speed to drop to cornerback if he had to. That's who I think that the Falcons should go after, a guy who could just come in there and make immediate impact, as far as coming in there and even perhaps getting a little bit of the leadership on his back due to the fact that he can do everything and set the tone and actually lead by example through his action on the field. So that's my pick, Miles Killebrew. I'm going to stand by for as long as I can.
All right, folks, who do you think? 404-361-1571, talking a little NFL draft. Who do you think the Falcons can draft in that number 17 slot? Give us a call again, 404-361-1571. All right, young gun Reggie Brown, who do you think they should draft? Number one.
I'm going to go out on a limb with a guy who had a very strong pro day, Andrew Billings out of Baylor. Big nose guard. I think the guy, he's very athletic. He's 6'1", 311. I think if you put this is why the Falcons should get him. They got Vic Beasley coming off the side. They got a lot of pass rushers potential coming off the side. If you crash the middle, hit the center, maybe blitz a couple times, get to the quarterback quicker. That's where I think the Falcons need to go.
Well, of course, me personally, you know me, I'm a Clemson guy. We were the finalists to be the Clemson affiliate here in Atlanta, so I'm going to go with either one of the two beasts coming off that edge for Clemson, either defensive end Shaq Lawson or linebacker from the outside position Kevin Dodd. Either one of those guys I think will make a big impact on with the Falcons. Now I'm going to kind of spin it up a little bit. who would you? We already know who you guys want number one. Who do you think would be a good secondary choice for the Falcons in the second and third round? Who do you think they should grab? Oh, we got them stumped, boys. We got them stumped. I tell you what.
Hey, man, didn't we just draft if I'm not mistaken, didn't we just draft a cornerback in the second round last year? Jalen Collins?
But here's the thing. At the end of the day, for me, I'm thinking, if it's me, what I'd like to see the Falcons, I'm going to give you my little list of guys. We already know that I'd take Dodd or Lawson, who's ever available at that 17. A guy who I'd like to see help that offensive line a little bit. Love to see them pick up the Outland Trophy winner out of Stanford, offensive guard, Mr. Joshua Garnett, 6'5", 325 pounds. He was one of the key blockers to open up the hole for Christian McCaffrey. So that's the guy I'd like to see in their second pick. And as you can see, guys, starting to get a little crunk here. We're on the floor of Phillips Arena. We got the kids coming out, getting ready for the pregame.
Oh yeah, it definitely sounds live out there, though.
Yeah, a little crunk in here. Getting a little crunk now.
I think the Falcons for the second, third round, they have to get offensive tackle. But if they don't, I can see the Falcons going off for an offensive pick. Maybe a wide receiver.
Right, that's what I was looking at. Right,
the guy out of Notre Dame who ran a 4.32. They just let Roddy White go. They picked up Snoot. They got Julio Jones, but at the same time, they need that explosiveness. They need another fast wide receiver to get that 3 slot.
Or they can go and get a tight end, one of those big tight ends that from like a small school or something that many people they may not know about, but he'll come in and just make a run, because that's actually what teams have been doing nowadays. It's been getting these tight ends who have tremendous size and actually who have enough speed to play wide receiver, but because of their size, they play tight end. They can they can both block and catch the ball. So I believe that they should go. I'm with Reggie on this. Go offense. Expand on that explosiveness that they already are building up with Devontae Freeman, Julio Jones, because next year they're going to target in on Julio Jones. So get something that's going to spread your offense out and, put points on the board. Just run up the score on people. That's what I think they should do.
Well, guys, as always, you guys have summed up real well. Chance, we'll get you one last shot here. What do you think they should do as their number 2 pick?
Yeah, I think
they select one of those awesome linemen.
Yeah, I think I think football is a game of trenches, right? So the successful teams have good offensive and defensive lines. Now, I love Alex Mack, right? But we still need a guard. So I'm with you with the dude out of Stanford, man. I'm not comfortable with our guards. I think both of them are terrible. I mean, I like our tackles. I like Matthews. I like Schrader. I like Mack. But you got to get Matt around that pocket up the middle. So I say, defense in the first round, and I want to get that OG, man. I want to get that OG in the second round, man. Protect Matt. Run that rock, baby.
And when he says OG, folks, he ain't talking like old school gangster, original gangster like me. Oh, but you not no gangster. Let's get it straight. Well, listen, if you want to hear more great sports talk, don't go away because we got to wrap up, of course, our community spotlight segment. You're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show here on Atlanta's Incredible Radio, WIGO 1570. And also, we're broadcasting live from Phillips Arena, as you can hear. But don't go away because we got more.
Call on the name of Jesus Christ. Son Edward in your ear on WIGO AM 1570, Atlanta's Incredible Radio. Son plays anointed gospel music and interviews the biggest gospel artists in the country. Son Edward in your ear discusses local and national news from a godly perspective. Son Edward in your ear. Tune in every Sunday at 9 a.m. on WIGO AM 1570, Atlanta's Incredible Radio. Son Edward in your ear.
Hello, this is Minister Jonathan Simmons. Everybody needs to be encouraged and inspired. And that's why I'm inviting you to join me on the Clarion Call broadcast every Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. here on Atlanta's Incredible Radio, WIGO 1570. The show brings you inspiration from the Word of God and information from great guests to help you make it through the week. It's the Clarion Call Show, Wednesdays, 9:30 a.m. here on WIGO. You can also listen on your mobile device with the free TuneIn Radio application. Remember to check us out online at www.clarioncallshow.com.
Guess who's coming to WIGO AM 1570 on Tuesdays? It's Ask Dr. RJ. Is your child acting out in school? Ask Dr. RJ. Are you feeling too much stress on your job? Ask Dr. RJ. It's okay to talk to your friends or even your mom, but you still need that clinical piece. So ask Dr. RJ. Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on WIGO AM 1570.
Ladies and gentlemen. Wow, 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 wow. Y'all looking good.
That's right, everybody. God looks good on you, especially if you have Him living on the inside of you, being washed and born again through the blood of His Son, Jesus Christ. You're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister, Jonathan Simmons, and I got a full house of young guns in the building. We have a guest from the Tall Boy radio show, Mr. Chance.
Yep.
And we have our two young guns, of course, Reggie Brown and Ashton Reynolds in the building. Right. Well, gentlemen, as you can hear again in the background, it is spooling up here as we get closer and closer to game time. And ironically, when I was on the break waiting to come back on, the Jumbotron went through and showed a little bit of Kyle Korver. And, Kyle Korver's a guy that is kind of really the glue for the Hawks. You know, when he's on, it seems like the Hawks really play winning basketball. When he's not, the Hawks seem to struggle to do what they need to do. One of the things that I found out, and maybe a lot of people don't know, that Kyle Korver is a devout Christian. That might be one of the reasons why he has such an even-keeled demeanor. And so what we're going to do as part of our community outreach segment, we're going to listen to his clip in just a second. But we want to do this. We want to go ahead and let our in-house guy, the guy from Blessed Coast Incorporated, the man himself, Mr. Ashton Reynolds, tell people a little bit about his nonprofit organization, all the things that the Lord has him doing out in the community right now.
Well, basically within Blessed Coast, what we do is we use all forms of entertainment to spread not only the word of God, but just positivity as a whole. Most recently, I've just been on a Stop the Bullying tour where I've literally been all over Georgia with Twin Sports TV. Shout out to them. And really just a lot of great things been going on. The music has been going great off of the rip, to the point where just this Saturday I was out in Hiram, Georgia, and had came back with a record deal. So I was like, all glory be to God for everything for it. And I look forward to, continuing to spread positivity everywhere that I go. And you're able to follow me on all social media sites, or just follow me in general to keep up on events and things like that by going to my website, www.blessedcoast.com, and I spell it BLESSEDKOAST.
Pastor, man, listen, how important is it for, a guy like yourself, a young guy, not even, I think you're barely 21 years old, to let the Lord use you to get this message out to other young guys like yourself, and even guys in Reggie's age bracket, 15, 16 years old?
Well, it's important because one thing about the Word of God is that it never changes, but the mind of each man will. So if you have something that never changes as your foundation, all you have to do, you have something very strong that you can build off of. So, and in the Word, when it says you can do all things through Christ, then that means that with that solid foundation, you can go ahead and use the Lord who's giving you all the required resources to be all that you want to be. You just use that to expand on what you already know that you have, and just go ahead and be all you can be.
Well, I tell you, man, it's been a great honor to have you as part of the broadcast, and just, kind of being a small way a part of what you're doing. I know that you're expanding now. The Lord is expanding your territory. You're now talking about doing TV as well as radio. And also, I think you're also involved with a youth group called East Atlanta Saints. Is that right? Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And actually, every Sunday, they actually have tryouts where you can come and be a part of the East Atlanta Saints. And, shout out to Coach Ace. And actually, what I would do on the Facebook page that for Blessed Coast, I'll actually put up the flyers of who do you contact, and the flyers for each tournament that is coming up, so everybody can stay updated with the East Atlanta Saints organization.
I tell you, man, we're excited. We got a chance to go out to and be a part of the East Atlanta Saints when they were doing their award ceremony for participation. So it's just great to know, man, that you're on the cutting edge doing that as well. Well, listen, we're going to take a quick listen to, again, like you said, Kyle Korver getting his remarks as we get into the end of the broadcast, and listen to him as he just brings some brief remarks to a group of kids after a Hawks game here in Atlanta.
With time or money or whatever, I was going to be this great life. And when I got to the NBA and I saw all these guys who had so much fame, so much money, but as people, they were not happy. They were really lacking in a lot of ways, from my perspective. Coming from a family, of pastors, but not just pastors, but just really good people who stood for the right things. I had this moment, it's a really long story, but there was this moment where God was telling me, you can pursue happiness in life, or you can pursue joy. There was this great big difference. And like happy, I get happy when we win a game, or I get happy when I get a new pair of shoes or whatever. But there's a difference in happiness and joy. And, for me, joy is when I'm walking with Jesus, when I'm walking in the step of the Spirit. There's just this deeper love and peace that I've found. Faith is such a journey, and we all try to grow deeper every day. But that really kind of set me on the path that I'm on right now. We're trying to be on right now. How do I mix my Christian life with my basketball life? Well, the goal is to make them the same, right? Obviously, I always tell people, if you want the NBA to be a party, you can. If you want it to not be a party, you don't have to. It's all about surrounding yourself with people who think like you, who are wanting the same things like you. I think the biggest advice that I can give younger people, is who you surround yourself with is who you will become. And so that's important right now. You gotta marry the right person, which I did. And you gotta have good friends, which I do. And those things can just kind of help you stay on track.
There you go, Kyle Korver. Great remarks by him. I think great instruction, because even the Bible tells you that bad company can corrupt good morals. Well, listen, everybody, it's time to wrap everything up. We want to thank each and every guy that's there, Mr. Chance, Reggie Brown, of course, Ashton. Guys, quick shout-outs to anybody. We got about 30 seconds.
Shout out to the Fan Cave. Go Iowa State. Like I said, go Kansas.
Quick shout out to my man, Tallboy, tallboy.us. Shout out to the homie Satonia, Sportswire Mag, everybody over there. And Mr. Simmons, I'll see you soon, man. I'm about to head down to Phillips, my man.
Well, there you go. See you in a few.
Yes, sir.
Oh, shout out to all my parents, actually, for getting me here, even though I was late getting here. So, hey, shout out to all the parents.
Right.
Yeah, we got to work on that. Just young gun. Well, listen, of course, I thank my Lord and Savior for being here, as I do each and every week. And I tell you what I do each and every week. If you do not know the Lord Jesus Christ, your personal Savior, I implore you, please, ma'am, please, sir, get to know him today for 2 reasons. Number one, that's the only way by which you can get to heaven. And number two, nobody loves you like Jesus, like your mom, not your grandma, not even your auntie and them. Nobody loves you like him. And that's why each and every time I sign up this broadcast, I say the same thing. I'm grateful to be with you and grateful to be alive and grateful to my Lord and Savior. God bless you and good night.
I'm straight, I got faith, I can't complain no more. I've been blessed, I'm thankful, no stress, I'm able to dress, so fresh, let's go. It's on tonight, my money right, big city lights, yes I'm alright. I'm rolling slow, we fall deep and we sitting low. Do you wanna go? I'm gonna be going for sure.